Good afternoon, everybody. This is Abby Esther, Handmaiden of Yah. And as promised from the last share, when I talked about the fallen angel dream, I wanted to share this dream that I had in March of 2022. Back then, I was puzzled. I was concerned. As time has gone on, I've continued to have a series of dreams, and I'm starting to put them together and understand the ask from the Most High. So in this dream, March 18, 2022, I logged this in my notes at 1 o'clock in the morning. I was chosen and I was told to participate in what I thought was a game or a standoff to fight against another group of people. And I remember thinking, I don't really want to fight against anybody else. But when I was chosen, I was being told from the Most High, like there was a voice speaking to me from on high, and it was saying to me, get up, you've been chosen. And I was backing away, and I said, I don't want to fight. I don't want to be involved. I'm not a fighter. Just not really my thing. And so what he said was, if you don't fight in this battle, evil will take over. And so against my will, I decided to go ahead and participate. And so the Most High began to share with me what my role was. He said, your job is to gather them, to round them up, and to tell them, because the things that I say to you, everyone else can't hear. And I said, okay, I can do that. And so in the dream, I got up to participate, and I was running in the dream. I was running, and I was yelling at different people saying, hey, guys, we got to gather. We have to gather. And the Most High was saying to me at the same time, as you gather them, you'll need to pray. He said, if you don't call upon me, if we don't call upon Yah, you'll lose this battle. And so I continued to run and to gather the people and to say to them, we've been called, we have to fight. We've been called, we have to fight. We have to come together and call on him to battle the evil, because we aren't strong enough within ourselves to win this. And so I'm running around gathering people and get them together and to get everybody in one accord. And suddenly, as I'm gathering the people, and I didn't know any of the people, it just seemed like there was a group of people within a larger group of people. So if you could think of it like a subset of the population, that when I said, hey, the Most High says we have to gather, they knew who they were, almost like they were expecting the call, and they began to come together. So as I was doing this, the Most High granted me the ability to see the other side that we were fighting against. And what I saw was a hole opened up in the ground, and lights began to come out of the ground with lots of voices, just lots of voices. And all of these voices and all of these lights are spiraling up with chattering and noise, and they're becoming dragons. And they were all evil entities. And it looked to me like it was a light show. But it wasn't a light show coming from above. It was a light show coming out of the pit. And then they began to fly over us, and they were talking to each other, and I could hear the voices, and they were strategizing on how they would destroy us, how they would defeat and destroy the Most High's people. And so we thought, and I remember just being taken aback, we thought we were fighting people. But in fact, we were fighting these evil entities. In our role, and I could see a woman. There was a woman that we were protecting. She was laying in a field. She was broken. She was weak. These entities were trying to capture and or destroy this woman. And out of the broader group, the Most High had assigned and designated this smaller group, which I was in charge of, or not in charge of, but helping to lead, that was going to battle to protect this woman. And the entities were trying to kill the woman. They were trying to capture the woman. They were strategizing about how to destroy this woman. And I could see the woman laying in the field. She was silent and she was weak. There was no strength in her to help herself. The entities were trying to get to her, but they couldn't get to the woman without coming through us, those that were chosen to fight. But we needed Yahusha's strength to fight this battle. My job was to tell everyone, we can't do this alone. We must come together and call on the name of Yahuwah, call on the name of Yahusha to strengthen us, because there is a battle. Only a select few were chosen to fight. But as I was going around, I realized that those that were chosen didn't understand the battle. They didn't understand who they were, and they didn't understand that we were not fighting people, but we were fighting demonic entities. And so the scriptural, thing that I put down was, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and against powers and wickedness in high places. Also, we know that in the book of Revelation, the pit was opened, and that a prince came out of the pit, whose name was Abaddon in the Hebrew, but Apollyon in the Greek. And let me see if I can't just pull that scripture really quick. So it says, then the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star from heaven, which had fallen to the earth, and the key of the bottomless pit was given to him. He opened the bottomless pit, and smoke went up out of the pit, like the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by the smoke. Then out of the smoke came locusts upon the earth, and the power was given them, as scorpions of the earth have power. They were told not to hurt the grass, nor any green thing, nor any tree, but only the men who did not have the seal of God on their foreheads. And so I'm going to pause there, and I'm just going to share the things that the Most High has been impressing upon me. I've been having dream after dream, and this is the time for the Most High's people to rise up. There are some that will be protected, and there are some that will be the protectors. There are some that will be covered in the battle, and there's some that will be called to do the battle. We can't do the battle on our own. We have to battle in his name. We have to call upon him, and he said that he will fight with us. It is a battle. It is a battle. We know that in the book of Jude, it says that when he came back with this army. We know that in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, Ezekiel was told to prophesy to the dry bones, and that they would rise up and they would form an exceeding great army. And the Most High is forming an army in these days. He's forming an army. And I said this in the last video, but I'll say it again. I've had dreams recently where I was attacked by invisible, the shape of a person, but almost like an energy. I could see the shape, but it was invisible, and it was just fighting me in the dream. And I've had 2 or 3 of those dreams. A couple years ago, I had dreams about being in battles with black shadows. And, the Most High began to, as I had to go on a fast for clarification, he helped me to understand witchcraft attacks, to understand warlocks, and that there's and I guess it would have to be intentional, the things that are happening on social media and around the world, where there's this sage and everybody's getting into this manifestation stuff, and calling on all these different spirits, even some of the Reiki, they're getting into this new ageism. And what's happening is the enemy has a great army, and the reason is because he's pulling the army from multiple different facets of religions, from different belief systems. All of them are being wielded by demonic entities. They're all being run by demonic entities. So in this case, you've got a lot of different faces and lots of different belief systems, but all of those things are wielded by demonic entities. And they are doing things. They're creating spells. They're doing word curses. They're doing all types of things. And they're fighting against the Most High's chosen. And we're just running around, oh my gosh, I feel sick. Oh my God, I'm not feeling well. I don't know why I lost my job. I can't concentrate. I've got mind fog. And he began to talk to me about those things and say, no, you're under attack. You're under attack. There are witches in high places. There are shamans who operate over the United Nations. I think there was a video release that showed them. Those are demonic entities. They're attacking us. It's not always personal. And what I mean is, the Most High shared with me, it doesn't have to be a person Sometimes it is. But understand that we have entered into this realm. Social media was created. And we have on social media our pictures. We have all types of information about ourselves. The realm of the wicked, they need points of contact. And we've uploaded all of our images and those of our children. And as we identify ourselves in these last days, we have speakers around us. We've got iPhones, we've got HomePods, we've got Alexa, we've got Siri. We're being monitored. We're being monitored. We are easily identifiable right now. And it's okay. It's okay, right? Well, I say that even though I've gotten rid of all of my different HomePods and stuff because the Most High told me to. There's some ways that they're still monitoring, right? But I eliminated some of the more obvious ones. And understand that you can't be a victim. He hasn't called you to be a victim. And so in this last days, the Most High is rounding up an army to stand for him, to fight on his behalf, knowing that he will fight with us. We are fighting alongside our Savior and our older brother, Yahusha, or Jesus. And so be prepared. Don't accept everything that comes your way. If you start feeling sick, don't assume that you're sick. If you start having trouble in your life, don't assume that that's just trouble. As I've begun to seek the Most High, he's been great about letting me know you're under attack. And so then I have to get into the Word. I had a period of time last year where crazy stuff was happening. I'm back out in my garage and suddenly the garage door crashes down on my car and, breaks off a piece of the top. And, that happened. And then the next day, or probably within a week, I'm driving my other SUV. I'm driving down and two deer just decide to come out of the woods and they crashed. They're running beside me for a second. And then it's like something off the ring. They just crash into my car, my SUV. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I'm going through that. I suddenly have rashes popping up on my body, like stuff. I'm running from doctor to doctor. I can't figure out what's happening. Am I sick? Like, I've never had skin problems. I've never had these types of things. I went through a period of time where my hair was falling out and I could not put together what was going on. And the Most High said, witches, you're under attack. And so he began to talk to me about how to battle in the spirit. And he told me that every morning when you get up, you have to go in and you have to speak my word over yourself, because my word is the sword of the spirit, right? Psalms 91, for example, when I get up in the morning, I say that over myself. When I leave and I get on the road, I have to ask the Most High for protection from spirits of accidents, demonic entities and animals that can be used by demon spirits crashing into my car, so that the beasts of the field would have peace with me and not come against me because some witch or warlock has sent them and commissioned them. But again, I want to share that this is not specific to individuals. There's witches and warlocks running nations. They're running nations. Think about Egypt. Who did their king, their pharaoh, who did he consult? Right? That's what they do. And so when you think about the plague that hit the United States a few years ago, one of the things that the Most High shared with me is what came out of the TV, right? When we were watching the news channels and they're telling us to go get the solution, those were spells. He said there's an enchantment that had been sent across the nation and divination, an enchantment. And everybody wasn't impacted. Obviously, some people's eyes were open and they weren't subject to those spells, but many, many people were. We know 70% of the population seemed to fall up under those spells and those enchantments that were being sent out of the TV through the news media. And understand media. I had a friend of mine point this out and I have to share. Medium, right? What is a medium? A medium is somebody who operates in the spirit realm, and they are the person in between the spirit realm and the natural. And we have the media, which is wicked as all get out. But, and I'm not saying all media, right? But when you think about the things that come through the channels that we have, media is medium. It is a channel. And they are sending information forth. And most of the information coming forth is not from the kingdom of the Most High. It's from the kingdom of darkness. And so be aware of that. Be aware of that and know that you're called. If you are chosen and you know who you are, you know who you are. We're called to battle. We're not called to back down. We're not called to back down. So I'm going to remind you and leave with this word. Finally, my brethren, be strong in Yahuwah, or the Most High, and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all holy men, and for me and for yourself, that utterance may be given unto us. This is what Paul said, that we may open our mouths boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel and of the Most High in these last days. We are called to fight. We are called to fight. We are called to fight. This is Abby Esther, handmaiden of the Most High. You guys have a great day.